If you've recently overcome your trepidation of the MacBook terminal or have discovered the joys of using the terminal, also referred to as the command line tool or the shell, congratulations. I have a great next step for you, and that is learning how to use the grep terminal command to locate information within text-based files in your computer quickly and efficiently without having to use the Mac Finder to go on a scavenger hunt for a file and then having to find the right application to open that file and then do a search for the info you need in that file. And if you can't find what you need, rinse and repeat. So, what are text-based files? Well, I'm glad you asked. I made this file types table especially for you. The file types in the top table are fair game for grep, straight out of Compton. Just kidding. I meant to say straight out of the box. Absent from the top table are file types from Microsoft Office, perhaps the two most common of which are Word and Excel. Without going into a diatribe as to why that is, I can tell you that we have several different methods that we can use to convert Microsoft Word and Excel files to text files so that we can grep them in order to save ourselves a whole lot of time. I've listed those methods for you within the bottom table. I have taught many different types of people, from software engineers to business people over the years, on how to use the macOS terminal, which is based on the Unix terminal. And the one common thing I've noticed is that if I lay on too much information in the beginning, people tend to get lost and become frustrated. Therefore, I won't go into these conversion commands now. I will let you peruse them when you are ready. We will get to know the basics of grep in this video, and I will teach you some basic searches to help you become productive relatively quickly. The prerequisite for this tutorial is the ability to open your terminal in your Mac and basic navigation within the terminal. If you are curious as to why my terminal look the way that it does, I am using the iTerm2 terminal with a special theme. Links will be in the description for this video. A convenient way to start the terminal with the folder that you wish to start in the terminal with is to select that folder, right-click, choose Services. In my case, I have iTerm2 terminal, but if you wish to use your out-of-the-box terminal with the Mac, then select New Terminal at the folder. In my case, I will select New iTerm2 window here, which will then open that folder in the terminal for me. Listing out the contents of my shell scripting folder, I have a text file called bacon ipsum and two other folders within the shell scripting folder. In the graphical user interface, in the case of the Mac, it's the Finder. This is what the folder structure would look like. We will use two commands in this video tutorial, grep and cat. Grep is an abbreviation for Global Regular Expression Printing. The word printing in this context means rendering text to the terminal screen. The cat command is an abbreviation for concatenate, which means to show the content of the entire file to the terminal screen. You might already be familiar with the cat command. Here I am catting the content of bacon ipsum text file. You can cat multiple files at once. Here, I will cat the content of both of these JavaScript files. They are relatively short files, but if they are long files, then this would be rather pointless. We are using the cat command in this tutorial so that we can see the entire content of a file so that we can verify our grep searches. To use grep, you would, of course, type out the word grep itself and then type the target that you want to search for and where that target lives. By default, grep is case sensitive. So I know that in my file, Bacon Ipsum, there lies a Taylor, but it's capitalized. So searching Taylor lowercase will return nothing. The sensible thing to do here is to pass the case insensitive flag, which is this -I here, to the search term. Because in the real world, we might or might not know if the word is capitalized or not, if we have no control over the data itself. Now you see that I have quotation marks around the Princess of Darkness name. Quotation marks are not always required for a grep search, but they are necessary for certain scenario where we're looking for an exact term. If there is a Taylor Williams in Bacon Ipsum, then if I do not add the quotation marks around Taylor Swift, then the search would yield other Taylors besides Taylor Swift's. And if there is a Taylor Williams watching this video, I sincerely apologize for announcing your name in the same breath as Taylor Swift. So grepping a case insensitive search term of Taylor Swift within the Bacon Ipsum file, we can see that Taylor Swift is behind a kielbasa, as it were. If you grep for a target and you do not specify the location of the target, then the computer will try to search all of Narnia for Taylor Swift, which will be a very long day indeed. If I wanted the search result to return only Taylor Swift and not all this meat surrounding her, then I can pass an O flag to grep. Think of O as the only search target. We can make the search more succinct by chaining the flags. Now poor Taylor is meatless. So now, what if there were multiple princesses of darkness lurking in Bacon Ipsum? How do we get a count of all the Taylor Swift in this file? This brings me to the pipe operator, this single pipe symbol here within the command, which is this key here that I have highlighted on your Mac keyboard above the return key. To simply put, a pipe is like a hose connecting two commands. It takes the output of the command on its left side and feeds it as the input to the command on its right side. Let's see the pipe in action. To the left of the pipe, you see that I have the previous grep command. So now I want to add another command to its right. So I'll add word count, WC, and I'll give it the number of line flag, which just means to count all the Taylor Swifts in Bacon Ipsum. And we see that there is 2. And we can verify that by running our initial grep. We can see that a second Taylor Swift has injected herself into the meat. Another common technique is to run the cat command on a file and then pipe, add a grep to it, and to look for Taylor Swift. If you're curious as to why I paused the -L flag or the line flag to word count instead of the -W or word flag to word count, the W flag works differently than you think. Remember earlier in the video when I tell you that I was going to be gentle in this tutorial? Well, in the documentation for grep, there is an exhausting amount of documentation for the various flags. So again, I'm being gentle here and just give you enough to get you going quickly. Another way to use the pipe symbol is within the search term itself. As you can see here, I have the pipe, a single pipe symbol between Taylor Swift and Taylor Galakowitz. So I want to print out all of the Taylors in Bacon Ipsum file. But in order for it to operate like that, I need to pass the E flag. The E, think of it as exact in this scenario. Really, it means extended grep. And the result of that grep is this information here. And certainly the previous rules for applying flags and search terms apply. Let's get into recursive grepping next. A recursive search in the grep context means that we want to search inside every file within a directory tree, not just a single file. Let's go back to my Mac Finder graphical user interface. We've been working in this shell scripting folder, and in there is a folder called law cases. And in that subfolder, we have two documents, employment policy and non-disclosure agreement summary. Imagine a scenario where we are assisting a law firm. We have extrapolated all of the employment policies and all of the NDAs and successfully convert them into .txt files, text file from Microsoft Office files. I've actually done this in real life. The most basic use case for recursive searches is to pass the R flag of recursive flag and then, of course, the search term that we want to search for. And of course, we will want to make the search term case insensitive. And as you can see there, we have a positive hit on that term. If you are doing the recursive search from your home directory, then you would have to supply more information to the relative path. This next scenario is for IT type individuals like cybersecurity or software engineers. If you recall from earlier in the video where I used the cat command to print out the client report JavaScript file, the tax processor JavaScript file, and the logger.javascript file inside of the utils folder inside of the financial tools folder, as you can see here inside of the shell scripting folder. We can see that in these JavaScript function, they are logging out the client's email address and their social security number in multiple places. Clearly, this is a violation of security in multiple scenarios and countries. So the way that we would grep faux pas like this is actually quite simple. Essentially, we're using the same pattern that we've used previously with recursion and the E flag, the capital E flag. And like I showed you previously, we would insert the single pipe symbol between the search term. Now, you might have noticed that I am escaping the console.log. That is because the dot is a regular expression operator, right? So I want to escape that from the grep processing because regular expression is at the heart of grep, okay? Same thing here where I'm escaping the paren. And there, of course, is the result of our grep. I should also mention that this type of thing is also useful for auditors as well. I'll cover another scenario for my software engineers that are watching this video. You can also use grep inside of Visual Studio Code to, for instance, look for other to-dos in the code base. You can grep recursively past the N flag, like I have here, to show the line numbers of where the to-dos are, and then the search term, of course, and then the directory that you want to search under. In this case, just the source directory. Or if you wish to replace all of the use effect hooks in your React app with 10 stack query for data fetching, the search pattern would be the same. You would pass in the recursive search, the N flag to show line numbers for the offending code. Use the include here to include only .tsx file for components. And then you get the result here. I'm using the VS Code terminal here, but this would work exactly the same in a regular Mac terminal. If you're asking me why you would need to do this in a terminal when you can use VS Code search functionality, the answer is that the code base that you're grepping through might not necessarily live on your computer. It might be in some cloud somewhere remotely. So you might not be able to use VS Code, the GUI portion of VS Code, to do your grep searches. And like I mentioned earlier, grep is not exclusive to the Mac OS. Grep is a universal Unix and then Linux operating system feature. Of course, the Mac OS terminal once again is Unix-like based on BSD. The documentation for grep is hosted at the GNU project. For you non-IT people that are watching this video, this documentation is like reading War and Peace in Russian. So if you enjoyed this video and you had some fun, please give this video a like, a thumbs up. Please also consider subscribing to my channel. It is completely free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it'll help me out in the future, perhaps. I don't make any money from these tutorials at all. So in the future, hopefully I will. Who knows? But I've been told to ask people to subscribe to my channel, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had some fun. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.